Hi, and welcome back to Twirl Craft Studios. So excited to have you here today. I thought today's craft would be pretty and practical. My husband has a ton of keys all over the place, so I thought we would do a hang on the wall key holder. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in.
First, roll out your clay until it's large enough for your mold to fit comfortably inside. The wooden mandala I'm using today is one I picked up at my local craft store. Nothing fancy. Once your clay is rolled out evenly, gently press the mold into the surface, applying even pressure all the way around. Don't overthink it. If it looks a little uneven at first, that's totally normal. Finally, carefully cut around the mold to create your shape. Trust the process. Clay always looks a bit questionable before it turns into something cute. Next, we need to add one hole at the top for hanging it on the wall and 3 holes at the bottom to add the shell hooks. I used the natural grooves and wrapped the shells in copper wire for more stability. And now put your clay aside for a few days to let it fully dry.
Now that this has dried for quite a few days, it's ready for the next step. It took me a while to decide on how I was going to decorate this, and I decided on the following. So we're going to do a little bit of decoupage, which means we take a napkin, and I've already cut out the flower that I am going to put in the middle of this. And then after that, I thought that the other parts that are standing out, I'm going to start with charcoal here, and I might do a little bit of burgundy on these ones. With napkins, just a reminder, once you have a napkin, they have quite a few layers on them, so you need to peel the layer back. And you just take the corner and peel it back like that. Let's get started. We're using Mod Podge on the bottom layer. I'm going to be using the one that is a matte base, not the gloss base. I'm going to decide after if I'm going to use the gloss on the top of the flower. It's in the middle right here, and I am just putting some on this circle here, like that. I don't want to put too much on, but there. Okay, and then I'm going to just put that right there. Take my little flower that I absolutely love. It's a dark, I don't know what you'd call it, a dark deep red, maybe a magenta, and try and place that in the center. Again, some people use saran wrap so that their fingers don't stick to the Mod Podge. I'm a little too lazy for that sometimes. Now I've got it. And then I'm just going to push the layers, the Mod Podge on a little bit more over top. Just to seal it in, this is only the first coat. I probably do another one. Also, the petals on this napkin are a little longer than the circle, so I'm just pushing them down with a little bit of Mod Podge. There we go. Very cool. Okay, and now on to the next one, which is I'm going to make a little bit of charcoal, not completely black, so I'm just going to mix some black with white. Oops, probably a lot. In fact, I might just do it separately so that I can make it. There we go. Grab another paintbrush. Okay, and mixing them in. And then I'm just painting these petals here. Ooh, that's nice. In fact, when I mix them like this, what I like about it, not completely mixing them, is that you get a different tones of it on your petal. It's not all exactly one color, which is fantastic. So here we go. Good. And then I might do an outline with some paint markers just so I don't have to go as close to the edge. What colors would you have done? I'm trying to put it, I'm going to be hanging it where the keys are hanging right now. So I tried to make it go a little bit with this room. So there's burgundy, there's charcoal, and then this flower is a nice touch. You can also do like sort of dots all around it. And I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. I want to keep it a little bit simpler. But I always decide in the end what I want to do. But as of right now, I think I'm just going to try and keep it simple. I always get intimidated with paint. I mean, this is easy because it's just sort of one tone, but I don't know. I'm not an artist. I don't paint. I have several ideas of crafts that I'm going to do, but if you have any suggestions as well of different crafts, I would love to hear from you, and maybe we can schedule them. At this point in time, I really like doing decoupage, which is the napkins with the Mod Podge, the self-drying clay. I did wire art for years, jewelry making with wire, and a little bit of macrame. So I do like combining those mediums. I guess you call it mixed media art. As you will see after, we are going to be placing the wire work shells, and they're going to be for the hooks for the keys. And because my painting skills aren't 100% accurate, I really like using paint markers for the edges so that I don't bleed over. And I'm just going around the edges to make it nice and polished. That's looking really good. Okay, next I'm going to do the smaller raised ones in a burgundy color to tie it all in. No, it's not as burgundy as I thought it was, but let's see how it goes. In fact, I'm going to use a smaller brush. There we go. And this color, it's similar to the flower in the middle. It's a little lighter at this moment, but let's see how it works. And you know what I've learned over the time? Sometimes I used to start doing a project and then a quarter way through, I'm like, that looks ridiculous, and I would quit. But what I've learned is just follow it through, because you'll be adjusting and modifying the design as you go, and it may take a couple of days to figure it out. Like right now, what I wanted was a nice simple design, and now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it looks like it's kind of lacking something. It needs something extra. And I wasn't going to go for the dots around, but you know what? I think that's just going to tie it in. So we'll see. Everything's changeable and everything's fixable. That's what I love. Yeah, I think these designs are too flat. The colors are just too flat. They need something extra. This is the part where I sit there and I go, okay, is this the design I want to go with? I have to follow it through. I will figure it out and let you know. I'm actually going to take this and do some dotted art around the edges. Oh yeah, this is just helping to tie in the clay, the natural clay color, with the design that I've gone with. I knew there was just something missing, and when you know there's something missing, you just have to continue until it just feels better to you. I guess there was just a lot of open spaces, and this just helps tie it in. Okay, now I'm taking this paint marker and I'm going around the whole outside to frame it all in. Okay, this is looking a little dark for me, so I just want to lighten it up a bit. So I'm going to use a white paint marker and just go over some of the dots, the black dots, and do white. You might see me working with several different types of paint markers. I sometimes use these ones and these ones, but I gotta tell you, my favorite paint markers are these ones. I think they're Japanese ones called Posca. I probably haven't spelt that right, but you can get them on Amazon and they're so good. I like those ones the best. But these ones aren't bad if you're on a budget. I think now dollar stores are doing acrylic paint markers. They're not bad. They're definitely cheaper. They don't last very long. Okay, this is doing the trick. It's lightening it up. Yeah, I like it. It's actually adding a little more depth, which is great. So I'm just putting it on top of the black ones. You can still see the black dots, but the white ones are just over top. It's kind of neat, actually. Okay, and then just a few final touches before I add the key holder or the key hangers. I'm going to do little spirals just to add a little more texture. Okay, I think it's looking great. What do you think? And now I'm just going to do some white little lines to give more texture to the burgundy. 3 per for each one. And these don't have to be exact. If you're noticing, there's a little bit of dust from the self-drying clay every time I move it. And once you put the protection on it, the Mod Podge, it will stop doing that, but you can't put on the Mod Podge till the end. Yeah. Okay, this is looking really good now. See, I was a little doubtful, but adding all this texture is really making it pop. It's definitely not a minimalist project. And I'm going to add a line to the center. I don't know, it just, you'll know when it's done. Well, in my idea, you'll know when it's done. It'll be just when you're just feeling satisfied with it. Before, it kind of looks like something's missing and you just got to keep going. That's where a lot of people give up or they just throw it out. Awesome. We're just going to now let that dry, and then we'll put a layer of Mod Podge on it to help protect it, and then we'll move on to the next steps. Okay, it's dry and it's ready for the layer of Mod Podge and then the final touches. I'm going to be using the shiny. This helps to protect it and it helps to seal in the self-drying clay. And it changes the natural color of the clay just a little bit. It makes it a little darker, which is nice. We'll also be doing the back side. Okay, now we're ready to attach the shells. These are shells that are shells that are wrapped in wire, just copper wire, just for a little bit of extra stability. We have 3 holes in the bottom and 1 hole in the top. Of course, the 1 hole in the top is for the nail to hang it on the wall. But these ones on the bottom, we are going to put the shells in now. Okay, I knew I had a little bit of a bigger one, so that one will go in the center. And we're actually going to use some glue once these are in. But for now, what we're going to do is put them like that, turn this over, very gentle, moving it to the edge here. And then we're going to take our pliers and make a spiral here. Like I said, we're going to reinforce this with some glue after this is in place. So all I'm doing is doing sort of a spiral on the back here, being very gentle as to not crack the ceramic. And then I'm going to bend this on the back and it will be sitting like that. So we have 2 more to do. It doesn't have to be perfect because nobody's going to see the back, but you know me, I love spirals. Hence the word twirl. And then very carefully putting it there. Nice. 2 down, 1 to go. Yay! Okay, and our last one, putting it through, bending the wire. I'll link the gauge of wire. I can't remember at this exact moment what the gauge is, but I will link it below. In fact, if you want to buy this gauge, I'll put an affiliate link. This helps to support my channel. And I only recommend stuff that I use and that I really like. Oh, see, oops, this one's a little bit loose compared to the other ones. So you just have to adjust it, keep adjusting. And maybe the spiral needs to go down a little bit more before I bend it. And then bend. Okay, that helped a little bit. And like I said, we are going to put a dab of glue on these. Let's get my glue gun. Okay, and of course we don't want to let the glue show. That's looking really good. So this one's a little smaller, the shell, and that's why. So we're just going to put a dab just to make it a little sturdier. Oh. I'm adding the glue to the back, and that way it won't show through. I'm just holding it until the glue sets, and then I'll move on to the next ones. Yeah, I think that one's set. And now this one. And you're just reducing the hole size. Perfect.
And here we are. The final project. I honestly love how this one turned out. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.